don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Please also like. Thank you!
Hello there everyone, Tom here again, and today we have the third video in the Agora Optimus Prime model build. So, yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to this. It comes in your standard brown shipper, Agora Models on the inside, and it comes with 3 trays. Now, I've already opened these up. You should have seen the pictures. The real life pictures beside the ones from Agora. So yeah, empty box. Once again, we don't get directions. They don't even have the QR code on the box that I've been able to see. So I still had the website up on my iPad. So I just put it in there and pulled it up. They currently, as I'm doing this video right now, they have directions for, I think it's directions for stage 4 as well. So this is stage 3. Hopefully we'll have stage 4 soon. 2 things real quickly. This is the replacement O-ring that we use for his wrist. We're building his lower arm and hand today, his left, and we're going to attach it to the other section that I have sitting over here. This is the replacement one. It came today as well. So they mailed this out apparently the same day that this was mailed out, and I got it. The other thing I'm going to tell you is, if you watched my last video, then you knew I was having trouble with the screws. So I'm going to try my level best to make this better this time. And to do that, I'm going to utilize this. This is the box that I got for the Enterprise D build. I've still got some of the screws in there, you can see. It made me so sad to not be able to finish this project because I loved it. And I know the other fan home, I think it is, has it now, but I didn't even put the last pack together. I was so disappointed. So hopefully this won't have that problem. But I wanted you to know I'm going to take the time as I go through the screws, and I'm going to label them, and I'm going to try and get them in an appropriate box here so that I don't lose anything. That's the plan. We'll see how it goes. So bear with me and we'll get started. The very first thing we do in this pack is we begin by assembling the thumb. And we're going to start off with some pieces here. This is part 3. They're labeled, they're on a sprue, right? Plastic tree. We just take them off and clean them up. This is 3. This should be part 1. This should be part 2. This should be part 6. This is 2 PB 2x5s, and we have these washers here, which are TR3 47s. And basically, this should be fairly simple, at least theoretically. We take one of these washers here, theoretically. These are silicone or something. I don't know. My kid, I think it was my kid. Maybe it was the wife. I don't know. Somebody borrowed my really good tweezers, so I had to get a new set. And when I did, they're just not as... Oh, they're not as good. So I stole theirs. That goes on there like that. Okay. We have to do that one more time here on this piece. These are kind of interesting. I don't know what I think about these just yet. I'm not sure what I think about them just yet. Having a hard time getting them off. There we go. Oh, flip this one around, put it on there, theoretically. Man, I don't like these tweezers. Alright, so that goes on there so that your part looks just like this. Now, looking at the directions, it shows it being held like this. Then we bring in part 1, which is this piece, and this piece is going to go on like that, right there. And we bring in part 6, which, looking at it, should come on like that. Alright, now, the next thing we do, actually, let me see if I can get a little bit more light on here without compromising the camera angle. We need 2 more, because we have to put them on here, and we need to then screw them in with PB 2x5s. So, let me see if I can hopefully get underneath here and get this one here off. It is not my intention to do all of these fingers at once. If there's some variation in some way, I'll take the time to show you all what's going on, but so far these videos have been over an hour each. We're just on the 3rd one. That's good for, you know, the algorithm, because the algorithm's like, oh, you know what, he's making longer content videos. It's not as good for me or you, the viewer, I don't think. Typically, I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I like to have slightly shorter videos when I'm doing stuff, but, you know, what do I know? Alright, now then, this comes in, and I don't know if there's a correct way to set it or not. Actually, there is. There's a little notch right here that you all can see that comes in and sets right there. I guess helps line it up. And then we bring in our trusty magnetized screwdriver here, and we just do it comes naturally by screwing this in place. Per usual, I'm not going too crazy with the screw just yet. We want to make sure that everything works properly, so I'm just trying to get it in there in place properly to hold long enough to where we can see what we need to do next. There's that one. Wow, it's taking a little bit of force to get these in there. Ow! Son of a nice person. Alright, I guess that's going to be it. It's got to go in there deeper than that. Tell you what, I'm going to do this off camera. I actually stabbed myself with the screwdriver. I was able to get this done. It required force to push straight down to get it to where it lined up properly, but it was doable. The next step is part 2, right, of this step 1. We come to part 4 here. Now, I didn't just automatically take this off the sprue because I wanted to show you, and I'm hoping this comes off on camera. If you notice, there's a groove here, and this is because you need this part and this part. So be mindful, if you just look at it from this side, you're probably not going to see the indentation. So make sure you get it here so you can cut it properly. And as always, whenever I cut a piece off a sprue, I always take the time, pull out either a sander or my little X-Acto knife. I'm comfortable using the X-Acto knife. For anybody at home that's not comfortable doing this, what I'm doing right now, just use a little sanding file. You can get them really cheap on Amazon. Regardless, like a pack of them. This is part 4. Then we take these little clear bushings, and they're just little clear, and they go on just like that. We do that here, we do that here, and we do that there. Just like that. Moving the page up. Then we take this and we take part TR 328, and I believe that's this part right here that looks right. TR 328. We bring this in and it should sit in right here. It looks like the outer bit comes down, and that's not, it doesn't want to go in all the way. Of course it doesn't, but relatively certain we can get it in there. There we go. Yeah, and that gives us the little groove here that we're going to have to do something with, and it shows that being covered up like that in the picture. Now we take this bit here, we find part 5, which is this bit, right? And we have to remove it from the sprue, being careful not to overcut. And this bit is going to pair up with this after we cleaned it up a little bit, because it's got flash on it right now, and we don't want that. We don't want our Optimus Prime to have flash on his fingers. So let's take a quick little second, and I'm just shaving off just a little bit at a time. Again, if you're not comfortable using the X-Acto knife, then get yourself a little file or something. They truly are pretty cheap. This comes in with this side like this, apparently. That's the way it looks anyway. Looks like it just comes in like that. Moving up. And now this apparently is supposed to connect to this right here, like this. That's what it shows. Alright, and it appears to be held in place with 2 PB2 5s. So let me get that, and I'm just going to go ahead and screw those in. The next thing it wants us to do is to finish assembling the thumb, and we're just going to take part 1, part 2, and part 3 here, and they're going to go into these various different places. Now, they have slots, so it's hard to mess this up, at least theoretically. So it tells us that we need just a little bit of glue just to help keep these finger joints here in place. So I'm going to add just a little bit here, not too much, just enough to try and help ensure the fact that it stays where it's supposed to. Let's see here. This should go on like this, and it did, slid right in there. This one should come in maybe like this, maybe like this. Is that right? Yeah, apparently that one goes in there like that, and that leaves the little bit of the thumb here. And I'll just put just a, again, just a little bit of glue on here, just to make sure it goes in place properly. And there is the thumb completed. That's not bad. Joints work. I just want to make sure the joints are functional before I set it aside, in case I had to do something with the glue. And as I usually do, I try to tell you people, I use the gel because I just like it better. It's easier to work with. It doesn't run. So yeah, looks like we're going to be assembling the rest of the fingers next. I'll jump right into that. I'm going to assemble this finger, and then I'm just going to do the other three. As I understand it, one of them is slightly longer or shorter than the other. It doesn't matter. The assembly should all be the same. So this is part 12, this is part 15, this is part 14, and this is a TR344 right here. And we're going to assemble these pretty much just in the order that you see here. We're going to use some more of these little flanges, or whatever they are, silicone washers. I think these are just plain old silicone washers. So they come in. Like I said, I'm just going to do one of these on camera, and then I'll do the rest like off camera. I'm not going to put you all through that. That just seems kindly cruel to me. And I don't want to have a 5-hour video while you watch me take 20 minutes to build, you know, each finger. That just, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to y'all. So this comes in like that. This comes over like that. And now I need 3 more. I need to put one here, here, and here. So, you know, continuing the trend here. Let's try to grab one. These are neat. These are neat little things. I like this idea of using these silicone washers instead of like a metal one, or requiring us to have, you know, like put some silicone in it or something. I like this idea. I like this idea a lot. It's functional. It's relatively easy. If I had, these are plastic. If I had mine, they're metal, they're nice and pointy. If wishes were dollar bills, we'd all be rich, right? So there's no use in worrying about it. This 44 piece just comes in here and just goes on top like that. Then the next step, we bring in part 16, and of course I don't have, that's part 13. Of course I don't have part 16 off the sprue just yet. Actually, this is part 6. This is part 16, and this is part 13. So we will put this together. 13 will come in just like this, and 16 will come in just like this, and it'll be held in place with 3 PB times 2 5 screws. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, get these off real quick. So again, we take part 13 here, it comes in and it sets like this. We take part 16 here, and it comes in and goes in right here, and then we put them in place with PB 2 times 5 screws. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because it takes a little effort to get them in, and it's hard to see on camera. So I'll show you the finished product here in just a moment. So I went ahead, as I said, and I put the screws in there, and it did require some force because we did want this to be able to go in there and hold. So we also wanted a nice stiff joint for you know, for his thumb or finger, or whichever this is going to end up being. I don't know, I haven't looked to see exactly. I'm going to have to get a better toothpick here. And now we just do the standard, put a little glue on it so that we can get it in place. And each of these has a designated area that it can fit into, and the other areas it can't. So once it gets in there, it's in there. That was part 7. this is 8, and this is 9. So all I'm doing is just putting a little bit of this glue here. I'm actually putting it on the piece because I don't want it to mess up the mechanism on the inside. I want it to actually go in where it's supposed to go and not prevent it from moving, if you follow me. So next I will take this and put this on here, just like this. And once I get this in, that'll be all I do here for a minute or two. Just like that, right there. I may have to put, yeah, I'm gonna put just a little bit more on there. It did not feel like it connected properly. So I'm just gonna drop just a little bit on top there. There we go. Now that'll hold once it dries. I've gone ahead and I have assembled all of the fingers. Now we're going to start actually assembling the hand with part TR326, part TR314, and 2 PB2x5 screws. So we take this part here we go just like this, so that that's sticking out like that. And then we just put it in place, as I said, with 2 of these PB2x5s. Go in there. Yep, just like that right there. You just screw it in place. If you notice, I'm using a different screwdriver. The one that they gave us started to, well, it was, the little forks on it started to break, so I kind of had to do something. Alright, next we bring in our fingers here. We have to figure out which one is the smallest. We have 3 that are exactly identical. Those 2 are the same. Those 3 are the same. Process of elimination, right? And this one is smaller. Alright. So the way this works is the smallest finger comes in here, like this, and sets in here. And then we just build the fingers out. Maybe. Get in there. There we go. One's in there. One doesn't move too much. Huh. That one's in there, and this one's in there. Okay, what comes next? Alright, looks like we're going to need 2 of these, which are the TR331s, and it appears that they are going to secure the fingers. Alright. So looking at this, that bothers me, that worries me. You see how this one is straight, and this one here is kind of crooked? I really hope I didn't put these on backwards. That one's movable. This one not so much. I would think it would be... I may be overthinking this, folks. I could very well be overthinking this. This finger doesn't splay out. That one doesn't splay out that much, but this one does. Well, this one doesn't even really want to go in there. There's no other way for it to have gone in there. It has to go this way. So, I'm going to try maybe a different one. See if that has any impact on it. That one wiggles. I don't know what in the world's going on with it. I mean, it looks just the same as the others. Tell you what, just for kicks and giggles, I'm gonna see if I can tighten it up just a tinch. Yeah, it looks fine. That one just doesn't want to. Tell you what, we'll. Now this is the reason I'm spending time on this is it looks like if. See, that one will move now. That one moves. That one moves. Okay. Maybe it just required a little adjustment. I don't know. But we have this piece here, which looks like comes in here and here and holds that in place. And then we have this one, which is the TR330, which looks like it comes in and hits this one and this one, like that. And now we need to hold these in place with the PWB 2/6 screws. Assembling the thumb on the hand is as simple as taking the thumb, lining it up here, kindly should just push into place there like that, right there. Make sure it's where it's supposed to be. And then take two of the PB2 3x6 screws, which are these, and they should go in right here. Theoretically. Oh, now don't be that way. Like that. Get my part ready. Come on now. There we go. These are slightly larger screws, so just be mindful. And as always, I'm just kind of putting them in here a little bit. I'll tighten them down here a little bit later once I'm sure everything goes in the way it's supposed to. Yep. There we go. I would have thought that would have been flush. I would have thought that. As maybe I would have thought wrong. I'm not going to push it right now. I'm going to look at it and see. Yeah, I'm not going to push it too far. Next, we take a TR329, which is this part right here. Apparently, this is going to come in and line up some way here. Sit like this. It's not like that. Like that. I guess it's like that. Here's hoping it's like that. Anyway, that gets as well the same type of screw, the PB 2 3x6 screw, and I'll go in right here. Like this. Truly, I hope this is the way this is supposed to go. Now, step 4 in this stage, we take one of these TR351s, right? And we're going to need this bit right here, which is TR332. Guess I can move the hand out of the way for a minute. This has a flat slot, which will go in here. Let's see, looking at it, it looks like it goes like this. Like that, maybe? It shows this bit going in. It says insert TR351 into TR332, checking the orientation of the parts as shown in red. You may need a hammer for this. Let me see what I can do with it. We continue with our assembly here by taking the part that we just did, right? I was able to get it in there, and I'm relatively certain this is what you want. We take part TR325, and with the flange part going in, it goes just like that. And we take part TR324 and marry those two together so that we get something that looks like this. Now we bring our hand back in, and apparently this is going to come right here and be held into place with two PB2 3x6 screws. So line this up and get this in here. I'm just getting it started because I want to make sure that it's lined up properly and everything looks right before I complete the assembly of it. I mean, this hand here is almost done. There's not much left that I would think that we would be able to do. I mean, I could be wrong, but it looks to me like the next thing we do is put the cover piece on, which is the TR327, and it shows that we add glue to these little posts right here, which would go in right like that. Dry fit. I think it'll be alright. Okay. So, add just a drop of glue to this where it suggests. Shouldn't need a crap ton, just enough to make sure that it stays in place when we put it there. It doesn't decide to run off. I'm trying to line this up without being able to really see what's going on. There we go. I'd like that thumb to be in a little bit more, but I'm not going to argue with it. Nope, not going to argue with it. And that's his hand. Now the next thing we do is we get another one of these right here, right? And that looks like it's going to go into this part. This is a TR351, and I need a TR323. I'm trying to figure out which one that is. Probably ought to put my cap back on my glue here before I get too deep into it. We have two pieces left from the first tray. And I believe this is the TR323, just looking at it. Let's see here. It looks like... I'll figure this out.
Does everybody know what time it is?
So I figured this part out. The directions are saying, you know, use a hammer if you have to. I used a pair of needle nose pliers and just very gently squeezed until this was in this position. It has to go just about all the way up to fit into this collar, because when this thing is connected, these two screws go in here, and this little lip here has to go around that little lip right here. Let me show you. This comes in just like that, okay? And then we take, this is part TR320. It comes in and it has to line up properly just like that. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to get that in there, and you are going to fight, and it is not going to be pretty. So avoid the fight and just, you know, take your time, line it up properly the first time, and you won't have to have the issues that apparently I like having. Let's see here. This is a, let's see what kind, a PWB 2x6 screw is what this is. And it should just go right in here, hopefully without any trouble. Because I am using, because it's connecting a bridge piece here, I did not want to screw that other one in all the way until I was sure it was going to fit. And it looks like it will fit fine, so I am going to go ahead and secure that one down, ensuring the fact that it is snug but not overly tight so that, you know, it'll break. You don't want to break. Put this piece in. This is TR322. This is TR321. Now we just need to line this up properly, and this will encapsulate that little bit right there. Hopefully when everything is lined up right, it'll look proper and flush appropriately and not fall off on you. Alright, and we connect this with 4 more of these PB2 3x6 screws. And I just go in here. The only bad thing about having a magnetic screwdriver is sometimes they just aren't happy. No matter what you do, you can't seem to get it to line up the way you want it to. Don't be that way. Get in there. Okay. Now let's get us another one. And again, whenever you're doing this, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this. I think I have several times, but maybe I haven't. Always go in a an X pattern. You do one side, and then you do another side opposite of it, so that it lines up proper. Here, 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 here type thing, right? And this is the way my dad taught me to do lugs for a car whenever you're changing tires, and the lesson is very applicable here, so that it lines up properly and you don't have to undo it because you've spent 3 hours trying to get it and it's just not lining up because you've taken the time to do it properly in the first place. And I would have thought that would have went together a little bit more. Let me It's hand tight. I don't want to strip it. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's on the inside of the arm. Alright, but that's that. Next thing we do, we bring in these two pieces here, which are the TR319 and the TR318s, and they just marry each other here like this, right? And apparently they are held in place on this side here with two more of the PB2 3x6 screws. So let me just grab two of those. Crud, I just dropped one. Crud, I just dropped one. Here it is. Yay! I like it when you can find things that you drop. And let me get one more. Alright. And it is as simple as you would think. Drop the screw in there. And of course, because I said it was simple, it's going to be persnickety. Drop the screw in here. Hand tighten it. Just like this. This is the part that's going to get the new O-ring that they sent out. So that's a great thing. I like it when these companies, you know, do what they're supposed to do. So this was the old O-ring that comes with it. We're going to keep that, but we're not going to use that. I suppose we could just throw it away, but I kind of hate throwing something away. They may be able to find a use for it later. Here's the new one. It just comes in and just comes over here like this. Like that. Just exactly like you would expect. Now we take part TR313, and that is going to come in here, and it's going to sit some way or another in here. It's going to just line flush up like that, right? And we need 4 more of these PB2 3x6 screws. We're using a bunch of these on this section here, which is fine. I mean, we have them. I don't mind at all using them. I just have to be mindful and try not to lose them again. I'll get one of these in and then we'll jump ahead to the next section. You don't need to see me screwing all these in. I mean, I figure you can probably figure out how to screw in a screw here. So there's one. I'll go ahead and do the rest of them and come right back. I have completed putting the screws in. So I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to take the part that we created last time, the upper part of the arm, the bicep, I guess. And we're going to work on this little dangly section. It always bugged me, but it has a point. It has a use, and we're going to figure out how to do that. So this is part TR311, and that's going to come in here. This bit right here is going to plug in right here, theoretically. Alright, this bit is going to come in and set right in here. There's a groove for it. This comes in and sets right here like this. This bit, which is TR310, is going to come in and just, marry these two like this, theoretically. Go in there. Go in there. There we go. Alright. Then they have to be connected with 2 more of these PB2 3x6s, and one of them goes in right here. Help hold that in place. Goes in right there, and the other one comes in, goes in right here. Just like this. again, just kind of hand tight. We don't want to overly tighten these just yet. So you know you've got it right according to the picture when it can bend and move like this. So that's what the picture shows. Alright, next we're going to take this bit, which is a TR309, and this bit, which is a TR312. Looks like we're going to need 2 more of those PB 2x3x6 screws. So let me get in my box here and get 2 more of those. Let's see here. It shows it looking like this. It shows this bit coming in to right here and lining up. And then it shows this bit coming in. Oh, I guess I have to... Yeah, okay. I gotta screw it in place first. I gotta line it up proper so that we can screw it in place. I don't know if you can see right here the screws. They're recessed quite a bit, but they go in right here, just like this. Again, I'm not trying to tighten them down completely. I'm trying to make sure I have it lined up properly first, and it's hard to see in here. It's hard to see exactly where the screw goes. Right there it is. I got it. Yep. Right in there, just like that right there. Once you've got them in place where you want them, hand tight. Okay. And then it shows this just coming in. It doesn't show any glue on it. So I have to conclude it's just going to hold in there. It ain't snapped in place, so yay that. The last bit in this tray is a TR316. And where does it go at? It shows it coming in right here like this. Is that right? Yeah. And it's a snap clip. So it should just snap right into place there. I don't think that's going anywhere. Man, I hope this is right. Really hope this is right, because if it's not right, I'm going to have some issues now. Alright. Okay. Let's pause for this. We're not too far from being done here, folks. So assembling the lower arm, we're going to need this bit here that we made. This is part TR304, this is part TR303, and we need this bit here that we created. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to encapsulate this with the little slidey bit here, going into right here. We're going to connect all this using the M3x12s, the lock washers, and the TR350s, which are the nuts, right? The nuts. And they're just going to go in a couple of strategic points like this. Actually, I might want to use just a touch of tape here. Again, just to help keep those in place. Might actually make my life a whole lot easier. Might not. I don't know. Sometimes you can't really use the tape, and other times it's like it's you know, something from heaven, the way that it works. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I expect it to work just fine. It should be easy to get off. Shouldn't have to fight too much with it. It should be quite easy, theoretically. Alright. Get that bit in there. Now, again, I do that so that the nuts will not come loose when we put this in place. We take our arm, we ensure the fact that this is going to go in this hole here, right? And this bit is going to line up and go right here. So put that in place first. Maneuver the elbow so that this lines up properly. We have to squeeze that just a tinch to get that into proper place. Alright. Yes, because that's not in yet. There we go. Now that has lined up properly, we take our wrist here, and I don't think there's a wrong way to orientate it, and it will rotate in the event that, you know, there is. So next we take this bit, TR304, and we just line everything up, make sure everything goes in the way it's supposed to. Take one of our screws here, add ourselves a lock washer onto there, grab it, and let's see, does it show where these things connect at? I know one goes here. Okay, where's my Allen wrench? Here it is. Yep, that started. Wash, rinse, repeat with these two. Stand up, you. Things might not always be easy, folks. That does not mean that they're not fun. So we can get this one started here. Yep, those two are started. Now I just need to... Alright, so this one goes all the way into here. This one is a mite concerning. I'm concerned that it's going to fall off before it gets in there. Or it could not, and I could just be, you know, wrong. So I can feel the tape there. That tape is helping to keep that screw and the bolt in place. And that one is tight. Let me tighten up these here in a prompt and efficient manner. Again, putting my finger here on the tape just to ensure the fact that it stays that way. And I'm not going to tighten them all down at once, but a little bit at a time until I know that the collar here is secure, just like this. Try and get everything. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. And last, yep. Now, we just take our little bit of tape off. I'm telling you folks, can't overestimate the difference that little bit of tape makes as far as frustration trying to do stuff, right? I'm just saying. And now let's just check to make sure our elbow works. Yes, our elbow works just fine. So that was a success. Next we take TR302, and this is going to come in here some way, and it shows it lining up just like this. This is going to be one of those fun screw in place things. So I'm probably going to do this off camera. It is going into metal. This is a die cast piece, and it requires PWM 2 times 5.5 screws. There's 4 of them all the way around the collar. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find those. Actually, I got them right here. So I am going to open this up, and I'm just going to do this off camera. It's going to be too hard. I've got the screws in. It's nice and tight. As always, where credit is due, I put a little bit of oil on the tips of the screws, and as always when I talk about that, I use this liquid silicone stuff. It doesn't harm plastic, so at least theoretically it's not supposed to. World of Wayne, his YouTube channel, learned how to do this from him. Credit where it's due. I never would have thought of doing that otherwise. It's just something I never would have thought of. So the next thing, we take TR301 and TR315, and we put this in here. Should go in just like this. This is die cast. It's wanting us to put just a tinge of glue on here on the spots. So I'm going to do that real quickly. I'm not sure exactly how much I'll end up putting here, because we just want it to not go anywhere. Sometimes this gel can be problematic, but most of the time it does really, really well. You don't have a liquid that you're fighting with, you just got a little bit of a gel. Again, it's whatever you want to use. Just try and be consistent once you start with something. That's on there. That's what we get. Hopefully that'll dry. Ooh, hopefully that'll dry quickly. I won't have to fight with it. Okay. There's that. Now, let's see here. We're going to need PWM. Where is it? We need some of the smaller screws. The PWM 2x5x5, which is right here. Looks like we're going to need 4 of these for this. 3 and 4. All right. Bring out our arm again, and it looks like, let's see here. How does this go on here? Here's the smokestack. This comes on like this. Okay. Got it upside down. I think I got it upside down. Okay. Yep, had it upside down. The bolts will line up now, which is what we want, right? So I'll set that down. Myself one of these screws here. See about lining it up. And we'll get the first one started to ensure the fact that it's lining up properly. I don't know if y'all could see, but there's one there, and on the opposite sides. So I think I'll just go ahead and I'll pause it right here, and I'll go ahead and get those in. I was able to get this on. Something to point out that I missed. There's a little extension here that needs to go out. Otherwise this won't line up properly. It was messing with me because it wasn't lining up, and that was why. So you take your part TR308, that will come in here and just kindly line up like that. And then you take 2 of these, which screws are they? The PB236s, and they will go in here just like this. It's plastic on plastic, so no need for any type of the silicone oil to help make it go in. Just like this. And then on the inside we use one of these PWM 2 5x5s, and that will go in right here. I know you all might have a difficult time seeing it. Actually, that's into... Good, I just lost the screw. That's actually going into metal. So in this instance, I'm going to put just a little bit of the silicone on there to help lubricate it to get in there. And I see it. I've lined it up. And that will just help ensure the fact that everything goes in smoothly and is secure. And that's what we do on that step. Let's see here. Looks like we just kind of mirror that with TR307. Just like that comes in. Something of note, I only seem to have one more of these TR307s, or the I'm sorry, the bolts here, the PB2 3x6. I only seem to have one more of it. And I've been very careful making sure I didn't lose any. So I can only conclude that that's one that we have to pull from one of the pack 2 or pack 1. So bear with me a minute while I go find that. So for those of us keeping count, I had 5 of these screws here. The PB2 3x6s left over from one of the prior packs. So you just go in there. I now have them put in the appropriate slot in that little box I showed at the very beginning of this video. So hopefully I can keep everything situated and it not surprise me in some way. And I found another one of those PWM 2x5x5s in there. I just had one, so I'm just going to use the one that I found, believe it or not, in the coffee can that I had the parts in. Go in there. Not sure it hit anything. There we go. And it's all on how you hold your jaw. Alright, so that one's in there. That's what we do for that. Now, we only have 2 pieces left, which are these pieces. They are TR306s, 06 and TR305. And they're just going to snap in place here. They have little spots. They're just going to snap in. It's recommended we glue them. So I tell you what, I'm going to put glue on these little posts here, and we'll go from there. And we just, I've got the glue in there, and then it's just a matter of lining up the posts and putting it in place, just like that. The glue will harden, no issues. The last thing that we do in this pack is put the fist in the arm. And it's supposed to just plug right in. I imagine, yep, it just plugged right in. Okay, so I imagine it is just a plug-in-place thing, so that we can swap it out with an axe or something a little bit later. That's what I'm thinking. The last thing I wanted to show you in this build is this completed arm, right? I wanted to show you just exactly how big this thing is. So with the fingers pointing straight down, it is taller than Menasor. This is the one with the upgrade kit, the DX9, oh, whatever it is, the DNA design one for Legacy. I think this is the 38 kit. But just to show you, you know, And this is MP10. Yeah, this is a big thing. This is a big thing. I'm really looking forward to this build. I'm not going to cover articulation. We've seen that the elbow moves. We know the fingers splay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing this thing. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching my Papa's channel. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.
Vitamin John. Operators are standing by.